Well, we were going to get here eventually. Today we're going to be looking at what happens when you make the choice between getting a curved soprano and getting a straight soprano. Let's check it out. Howdy everybody, my name is Andrew King. We are here at Alamo Music. Don't forget to visit us at alamomusic.com where both of these instruments available for purchase and for anything else that you may want to look at. Today we're going to be having a conversation that honestly most players of the saxophone are going to have with themselves at some point because they're just cool instruments. Soprano saxophones are just really neat. The top most recorded artist of all time as far as instrument playing plays the soprano saxophone. So that's something you might want to get into. And when you look for them, you're going to be looking at the straight soprano most of the time. The big old golden clarinet that everyone wants to play on, and it just plays good. It's fun to do. You don't get to play it too often, making it a kind of a rare thing. But then when you start researching it, you learn that there's actually a little bit of a brother to the instrument, and that's the curved soprano. Now, we've done a video on both of these instruments individually, and so this isn't really much of a comparison between these two models in particular, but these are both really cool instruments that if you were to get into soprano saxophone, I think that having a choice between the two really does make it important as far as what kind of playing you want to do and what the kind of use cases for it. Now, that being said, between the two of these, as far as models go, this is going to be the SS6200 Pro 1 Antigua wind soprano saxophone, and this is going to be between the SS3159 intermediate soprano saxophone from Antigua winds as well. Now, a quick disclaimer before I get started with this. I would want to let you know that Alamo Music is a distributor for Antigua winds. So both of these models are available through our website and for any other stores that are looking to get these instruments. I don't want that to be any kind of downplay on the quality of these instruments when I talk about them, because these are fantastic horns that I think anyone could get a really good use out of. So between the two of these, I will say I have a strong personal preference for a straight soprano. It just feels good to play, and it's just really cool looking too. It's striking, it looks nice, and it's really easy to carry around. Now, that being said, there are certain use cases for the soprano saxophone that I actually do recommend depending on the kind of playing that you're going to do. Mostly when it comes to playing live. Now, when you're playing live, you're going to be usually in conjunction with playing the soprano saxophone, you're usually playing an alto or a tenor or something like that in that case, right? And so you're going to have to get up and play into the microphone when you solo. That happening means that you want to point your air into the instrument and you want kind of a similar use case between the two. So when you're playing the soprano saxophone and you play into a microphone that you're already using for the alto, using the soprano just makes sense, right? You're pointing in the same direction. You don't have to make any kind of adjustments, not any kind of like Dave Liebman straight out the bell and everything like that to get that full projection. And I have to say, the projection of a curved soprano is something to think about. While I can get a really nice, complex, deep, dark tone on a straight soprano, when I play the curved soprano, it just pushes that sound and is actually kind of a cooler feeling to it when playing. It's very unique in that fact. When you play the curved soprano, the sound's coming back at you a lot more, and you can kind of get a lot more feedback from that, helping you kind of have make adjustments if you need to. So that being said, though, I also think that kind of projection, that stronger projection, doesn't really help in the cases of wanting to play, say, like ballads or anything. I think that you can get a much more complex, darker tone on the straight soprano, and it just plays nice. It feels good in the hands. It looks like a baby saxophone for a reason, right? You're really going to have to kind of tighten in when you're playing on the curved soprano to make it make sense for you. It's really tiny in that case, right? So when you're playing it, you kind of have to make adjustments, and the keys are much closer together. It's just a very tiny horn. When you play on the straight soprano, it just feels nice. It plays like it has the same kind of key structure. The ergonomics on it are very similar to that of like a normal alto saxophone. So you don't have to make many adjustments switching between them, making it a very good instrument for switching in middle of gigs. So you kind of have like a kind of con and pro kind of thing going between the two. So it just depends on what you want to go for. I think that for the novelty of it, I think a curved soprano looks just really neat to play. It's just a little guy, right? But when you play the straight soprano, I think there's a lot more kind of tonal options available to you that you can do, and it just makes more sense to go with that one. But that being said, Everyone has their kind of decisions they want to make when it comes to this. That's going to be my personal preference. So let's go ahead and take a listen between the two, kind of hear what they sound like, especially into a microphone, and let me know what you think. See you in a bit. what did you think? I really had fun playing this curved soprano. There's just kind of a novelty to playing something so kind of tiny and cute. But with that being said, the straight soprano just was a very strong preference for me. It fits better in my hands. It's easier to play as far as that goes. But when talking about that kind of thing, I do think that the projection on the curved soprano is so strong that it makes it just really fun to play. And I think that's really important. If you're not like a professional saxophone player and you're just doing this for fun and you just want to play fun instruments and play cool music and all that fun stuff, I think the curved soprano is a great choice. I think that if you can at least get one, make sure you get the right model and get one that has really good intonation, has really good projection, and just plays well over a long period of time, it's always a good choice. I just think, you know, the straight soprano just has a lot more complex options for you that if you want to do more styles, more different kinds of playing, it just does better things in that sense. The intonation on a straight soprano is also just across the board easier to do. There's more, the straight blowing nature of it, it's just an easier instrument to play for sure. So you don't really have to make adjustments or anything like that. You don't have to really worry about, you know, aiming up or down as far as tuning goes in most cases. And I think that the instrument's just an easier one to play. That being said, I am comparing between the two, the professional model of the straight soprano and an intermediate version of the curved soprano. So that kind of has to be taken into account when it was today's testing. But in my like experience playing a bunch of different ones over a long period of time, that's always been sort of an issue that I've always had with the two. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Please get in the comments. Tell me, what was your first soprano? Did you get a curved one? Did you get a straight one? I really want to know. And don't forget to visit us at alamomusic.com, and we have so much more available. Thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful day.